Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the E-Tims podcast. My name is Desi, and so far I'm glad to say we have been joined by the pilot of the Tarrier Carrier, Ralph Malv. Good evening, Ralph.
Evening, how you doing?
All good, thanks very much for joining us, Ralph. And the tactician from the suburbs, Hector Bandito, has joined us. Good evening, Hector.
Evening, guys.
So we did plan to have this podcast. This is Thursday. We did plan to have it on Monday, following the weekend's events, which we'll cover, no doubt, soon enough. But usual, our plans just get derailed quite quickly. We still don't know if Monty will join us. So he said half an hour, but Monty's half an hour tends to be rather elastic. So we'll wait and see if he does turn up. We'll carry on regardless. We want to focus on the football, but as usual, we are a little bit derailed. So I have a few things I need to cover, which we've been neglecting recently, especially letters from listeners, guys. So please bear with me. We've got letters from listeners.
Letters from listeners?
Yes, we do. We have letters from George. Has been very busy. Our listener, George. Well, hi, George. Let's kick off. First of all, letters. We have one letter in from a Karen, sometimes happy Celtic lass. Apparently, the Celtic women made won their semi-final, get through to the final in the cup, so that was very good. But Karen, sometimes happy Celtic lass, writes in to offer her heartfelt apologies to the visionary that is Ralph Mal for his super striker call on wonder kid Zayan Poulan. So congratulations, Ralph. Your doubters are walking about in shame with their head held very low. You called it.
Can you believe it was on Twitter earlier on. There's a report in the Sun that Athletic Bilbao are already after him and we could lose him for nothing. The poor guy was unheard of until the last podcast.
Until you
It's your fault. It's your fault then.
So that was it. So well done, Ralph. Thanks very much. We've lost another wonder kid thanks to you. Okay, and then we'll get a small note here. There's a small note here from a Mr. A. Johnson and a Mr. M. O'Neill, which says, let me just read it. Desi, what was that you were saying about never seeing Alistair Johnson start a game this? Oh, no, we'll move on for that one, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. We've got a Mr. B. Wilson of Parkhead Mansion writes in. This to remind you and all the listeners to be unified in buying the new kit and get those season book renewals in early. Hi, right. Hector. Hope you're doing well, that one says. So that's
Thanks,
nice.
Brian. Thanks, mate.
So that is very nice. Okay. So that was us. So a big shout out to all the listeners, especially the L4 listeners. Thanks to everyone for your comments, your reviews, etc., your letters. Always appreciated your emails. Please keep them coming in. So we're going to charge on forward tonight. But before I forget this. Last night I was at another pod. I jumped the fence to go and see another pod live. I had a Big Dumb Movie Show live, and I bumped into Paul McLaughlin, a good friend of our pod, Paul McLaughlin. And one of the topics at the Big Dumb Movie podcast live was sidekicks, movie sidekicks, which made me think of who would be your Celtic sidekicks. So I'm going to leave that with you guys for now, and listeners, you can have a wee thought of it. I'll give you an example. Paul suggested Chris Sutton for Henrik Larsson. He was Henrik Larsson's sidekick. So that's a wee example, but it can be anything you want, Celtic-related sidekick. I'll come back to that later once we've dealt with the nitty-gritty of the stuff. Right, so here we are. The split. No team has ever won all 5 games of the split, and at least one of the title contenders won't be doing that now, for sure, right? So there we go, Hector. The last time we talked, Hector, we had just finished the 6-2 mental game against St Mirren. We have faced Falkirk and Hibs. Where would you like to start, Hector? Is it all? I'll prompt you with a question. Are we just doing enough, or does it no fucking matter? Winning is everything.
So that matters is winning especially at this stage. You know, we all want performances. You want to win and put good performances on, because if the performance is good, you're playing well, and invariably you'll get more chances and score more goals and win easier, right? We all want that. But I think there's a realisation now with the squad we've got that, you know, there's no more transfer windows. It's unlikely to improve significantly. But what we did discuss was a couple of things. Was in a weird way, we said after the St Mirren 6-2 cup game that we're clutching at straws, right? That one of the best things that may have happened to us was actually St Mirren getting that late goal to take it to extra time. Because for that 8-minute spell, we get 4 goals, which nobody anywhere was expecting. And I wonder whether that 4 goals is just giving a bit more confidence to the team, because we were struggling to score goals for so long, weren't we? We weren't creating many chances. Then we played Falkirk the next week, and it was a good game of football. Falkirk's a good team to watch. They do well, but I actually thought we weren't brilliant, but I thought there was an increase in performance in how we played. We got 3 goals. Maeda seemed to take his form up to the Maeda we know he can be when he's at his best. Engels, I think, got, was it 60 or 90 minutes that game, getting his fitness back. So we started to see improvements. And Alistair Johnson come on, was it the last half hour? So performance might not improve significantly, but if Maeda's got a return to form, which it appears like in the last few games where he's battered the goals and then set them up, you've got Engels now playing 90 minutes and Alistair Johnson starting against Hibs, better players coming back and other players playing better. That's a positive. That's a big positive sign for us. And we've just got to hope that can continue for the next 3 league games and cup final.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Ralph, do you see anywhere where this under-15 wonder kid could slot in right now? Do you think he could play against Rangers at the weekend?
I think he should be involved in the team at some point, but maybe not until the summer. I think it's a wee bit too soon for him. The players seem to be doing a wee bit better. They seem to have just slightly lifted the tempo, but there's kind of a fragility about us when we're in front. And when something goes against us, when somebody scores against us, we kind of lose our way for a bit. And yet the paradox is that if we're behind, we seem to galvanise ourselves and pull something out of it. There's no flatline. Everything's either up in the air or down the ground. So it's a one game at a time thing, and it's just however we turn up and whatever happens. I think.
Dare I say it, guys? Right? That is there. Again, we're all clutching for that wee bit of hope and inspiration, and there's a couple of performances, but is there maybe something in grinding out wins consistently, grinding out a 1-goal victory, a 2-1 win? Does that in many ways build confidence because you know you can do it, and a bit more belief that you're doing it as a one-off, but if you're consistently grinding out a 1-goal, feels like a 1-goal victory, and we'll beat Falkirk 3-1. Is there something in that? Is something that you can cling on to and go, well, actually, they're doing it almost every game now? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, I suppose.
No, it's a fair point, and it's the classic cliche corners. I mean, like winning breeds confidence, and confidence breeds winning, that kind of thing. We went through a long period this season, I think, when as soon as we didn't need to lose a goal, we just needed to play really badly, and your head would go down. You think, what's going on here? Whereas at least now, as Hector, as you say, we have Dyson on at least 80% of his Duracell bunny batteries, hassling every defender and goalkeeper. I mean, and then you start to get a wee bit of optimism there. Well, he's playing well. He's actually really gone for it here. And then as you say, suddenly AJ comes back. You've got an overlapping defender who might reach the byline, as we saw at the weekend. That's something else that was missing for a long while. We were just Tierney is still stopping, but fair play. Somebody in Axom the other day mentioned they didn't think Tierney had confidence to go by Tanecki, that Tanecki would cover for Tierney. No, that sort of way. There wasn't the support mechanism there. So maybe it'll be a case of that will be reinforced, and then he can actually start to get ahead, or Sarachi might get some more minutes. But there is wee pockets of improvement. We're not flown by any means. It's fair as Ralph also notes. We can get sucker punched, or we can lose a goal, then lose our way in games, even like Falkirk. I think we lost our way for like 10, 15 minutes. And you kind of think, what's happened here? And then as you say,
you find a way.
You find a way. You find that rung in the ladder just to get secure for a few seconds, and then start to progress again. We're not climbing it at any speed, but we're still on it and we're still making progress. So it's just, is it enough? But there's a question: is it enough? So we've played arguably the two weaker team, logically the two weaker teams out the 5 out the split, and now we're going to face Rangers, Motherwell, and Hearts. So have we done enough against these two teams to give us confidence that and again, I'm all for increments. So this wee small stepping stones, we're starting to show some pockets of improvement. Maybe somebody else will show more improvement on Sunday. We don't know. We'll discuss that in a second. But is it enough to be? Are we moving forward enough, do you think, to actually get this over the line? Or is it to be continued?
So you're right. There's definitely increments of improvement. Like Alistair Johnson the weekend, it was like night and day. Having him starting again, you've seen it straight away because his athleticism and his ability to get up and down the right hand side. He's a leader as well. He's one of the kind of leaders within the group, and his quality. Like the first goal was him, wasn't it? The give and go, and he crossed it for Dyson. But I think he adds so much to that whole right hand side of the team, right? And Ralston's a trier, and young Donovan's, may have a good future, but there's levels, and that's in every aspect of football, not just football, any sport. And Johnson's clearly levels above them. You've got a settled kind of defence now. We've had a lot of injury suspensions, but we've kind of got. They still make mistakes, but I think having a settled back three, by that I mean the keeper and the two centre backs. Tierney seems to be starting. He's getting lots of football. And Johnston, that gives you a bit more solidity, doesn't it? Then Engels and McGregor now played the last 3 games. That starts to build, and then Dyson just taking it to different levels. So there's definitely improvements. We're not going overboard because we can't go overboard, but you can definitely see bits. So the question is, you raised it there, can we add to that again this weekend? Can we add an extra 10, 20%? Can one or two players take the mantle? Can Yang or Nygren, who's been invisible for a few weeks, can they just pick up a bit and just give that wee bit more quality to see out a victory on Sunday? Because this weekend's 2 games could in effect determine the title one way.
Yep.
Because if Hearts win and we don't, it's pretty much done, right? Even if we draw, it's done if they win. But let's turn it on its head. If Hearts don't win, the opportunity gives us on Sunday to ramp up the pressure on them. I mean, so we just need one or two. I think you're right. Keep that consistency, but just to kind of one or two, just gives that bit extra this weekend, and fingers crossed they can.
Yep. Ralph. Okay, before we go into this Sunday coming, let's just step back a wee bit because I think Monday's game was quite interesting today as well as our game this Sunday. Let's go to Sunday's game. Easter Road. There was lots of talks of Hibs lying down, Ralph. Did we see any of that, you think, at Easter Road?
None whatsoever. Even when the boy gets sent off, there was talk that he'd done it deliberately and all that kind of nonsense. They weren't lying down. I don't think they ever were going to. And they just kept going at us. And we were never comfortable in the game. Once we went ahead, you think, we can maybe go on and do this. But we didn't so much shoot ourselves in the foot as they kind of stepped up a wee bit. And perhaps it was maybe some kind of narrative that they would be accused of lying down that made them that wee bit more proud and didn't want to. The thing, again, they went down to 10 men and they fought. And against Hearts, they fought with 9 men. So I think they were just unlucky over those 2 games against both of us from their point of view. From our point of view, and we'll notice this especially at the weekend, the in-game circumstances are going to play a big part in the next 3 matches. Sendings off, refereeing decisions, not taking chances, mistakes. It's intriguing. If you were a neutral, you'd love every minute of it. But we're not neutral, are we?
No, exactly. So in my notes for this podcast, Hector, and I know you're a big fan of the guy, I've just wrote the words Douglas Ross as a cunt discuss. So I know you're a big fan. Any thoughts on Douglas Ross?
You're a cunt.
Okay, moving on. That's confirmed that.
Well, it's interesting that in real time, right, his flag was up quick as a flash, right? Now, when we seen the replay, even before they drew the lines, you could see he's maybe 3 or 4 yards behind play. So if his angle, if you look at it, the player nearest to him would have been Alistair Johnson crossing the ball. So Maeda would have been, by virtue where he was looking, would have been behind Alistair Johnson, and he put up as quick as a flash. So I think just that decision alone, he should have been demoted, because the angle when he gives offside being 3 or 4 yards behind play. But then the Alistair Johnson, when he got the bad tackle on him, I don't even know if he put his flag up for a foul. The one that the referee booked the guy. And VAR, I don't even think he gave his flag up for a foul, Alistair Johnson. But here's the thing with Douglas Ross, and we've all heard, we've all got our own thoughts on him, probably consistent thoughts. He is a cunt, right? He's a Tory cunt. But I think the politics, him being a politician, has got a lot to play why he's still involved in the game. I've got no two ways about it. You imagine, it doesn't matter if it's Colm or anyone else in charge of the Referees Association, if you've got a guy who was the leader of the Scottish Tory Party or any political party, right, who has an in, no doubt, at most of the media, unionist-friendly media outlets in Scotland, I've got no doubt if Colin, whoever said to him, you're done, can you just imagine some of the stuff that he'd be going to some of his, let's say, friends in the media? So I think he's kept in there just to shut him up. And it's no right, it's no fair, but I think that's why he's there, because he's useless. He's absolutely useless.
Yeah, he wasn't.
As an official.
Yeah, he wasn't running down the line shouting red card this time, was he? That horrible little man. Horrible little man.
Well, that's interesting, Ralph, you say that, because I'm pretty sure, and again, I could just be paranoid or biased, one of the two, that when they did give the offside, the camera went to him as he was heading away, as in he'd made the decision, and he's nodding his head, talking into his mic as if to say, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, definitely, yeah. And as if there's voices in his head asking, are you sure about it? Yep, definitely. I could be wrong. I just assumed that's seemed the natural conversation, that he was just adamant, yep, that's it, definitely. And as you say, there was no red card. But Hector, I think you've got a vet meeting. He's also, he's nothing against his wife's a police sergeant and all that, so his daughter contacts would expect a former leader of the Tory party in Scotland who manages to forget to put in his £30,000 tax notice every now and again, because we all forget about £30,000.
We've all done it.
Lying on the sideboard. Let's be honest. I mean, it's easy enough to lose track of 30 grand every now and again. But yeah, so Douglas Ross. Mate, so you two saw the game as well as that. I didn't really notice so much about the ref. What's his name? Is it Robert Dickinson?
David Dickerson. Isn't it?
Aye. But a lot of people came back with immediate, like I pinged it on Twitter. A lot of people came back and went, no, what about this and what about that? And again, as Ralph notes, Hector, a lot of it was stopping the play. No, like as again, we're trying to actually stop. Let's have a free kick for that 60 yards to go, even though you were 45 yards breaking into their half. No, that sort of thing. And there's a good chance we might see a lot of that come the next 3 games, if not especially on Sunday.
Well, just look at the Hibs goal. That was incredible, considering as well that our Desi and Maeda's goal get put back on because of VAR. There's no way that was anything apart from handball, and the rules are clear. If you score directly after handball, it's not a goal.
Right, I wouldn't blame him for that.
Let's go back. Let's go back 30 seconds for that goal, because that was a total clusterfuck. A Celtic, it kind of sums Celtic up this season, I think. Under no pressure in the game, heading towards half time, and then Scales plays a hospital ball. It goes out the road. It's running at the park, and then Tanecki falls into the guy, and then before you know it, it's. I'll let Hector, because I know it involves his favourite player this season.
But it's actually, as you say, it was many things, right? We're 1-0 up. We actually had a chance to counter, because Hibs had everything behind. The first half, we were in total control. We actually played okay the first half. But the chance to counter, and Scales, as we all know, his biggest weakness is possession of the ball. There's minimum 1, usually 2 or 3 bad passes every single. And that was in the basic pass. So the pass itself is something that he should do 10 out of 10 at that level. And then Taneke, free kick given, kind of weak free kick, but he gave it. But it's still 35, 40 yards out the touchline. They put it in, but this is something we're really weak at. When he puts it in, the second ball is almost always going to go to the opposition team again, because we don't have players ready to pound slightly higher up the pitch. They've got them all back in the penalty box. Why are we leaving? Why have we not get Maeda 15 yards outside the penalty box for in case we win the header and he can turn and get them turning and we can hit a ball? We don't. They're all compact. So if you win the ball, the first header in the box and it goes out, it's going to go to the opposition who's going to fucking put it back in again. So there's wee things there. But Nygren's header, I still don't understand what Nygren was it. Was it okay? So the basic thing was just to flick it behind for a corner, wasn't it? I mean, it's up high, flick it behind. Did he actually try and flick it behind and just had a bad header? Because I don't think I've seen many players ever do. I can laugh now. Can you imagine we never fucking won? I don't know how many players I've ever seen actually ball's going out or flick it a corner and he heads it into the middle of the 6-yard box. I'm just like, what are you doing? Sinisalo comes out, weak punch. And then to Ralph's point, Joe Newell, who was doing keep up with his arms, and even look at Joe Newell's face after he scored. He was running back as if this was getting called off, wasn't he?
In fairness to Joe Newell, Joe Newell was just playing a captain's role and checking the ball was properly inflated. I mean, there was concerns, so he obviously had to check that. So
look at Joe Newell's face. See after he scores, the camera's in on him, turning around to go to the halfway line, and he's maybe only walking 5-10 metres, and you see his face like, no, he's not expecting that goal to stand. So
that's what Andy Walker would. Andy Walker would have deemed that.
Put his arms up to cheer.
Andy Walker would have deemed that professionalism. You know what I mean? You do what you can to get your goal. But again, like you see the class, you're watching the telly and you see the classic. He's pointing to the right side of his stomach, so to speak, to the ref, as if that's what it hurt me. No, as if there's going to be a big bomb out there. That's what it hurt me. And then it's the fact that it kind of goes down his arm, and you could question the top of the arm, but you can, well, that may have been only a bit of his chest. But it's the fact that it drops to the horn and then moves in direction. I mean, I suppose if it's like a one-hit bounce, it goes down and then bounces forward from nicely to set up the wee volley. And then it goes in, and then I'm watching it, Hector's watching it, and Hector's going, I'm reading Hector's tweets, and it's like, clear handball, fuck me, I've given it.
Here's the thing, right? Obviously, Sky have got more cameras than the standard VAR at the Scottish games. There was one angle that Sky showed, which was the camera from the opposite end of the pitch looking up. And that was one that clearly showed it was on his arm. Do the match officials, do VAR get to see every camera angle that Sky has, or is it just their fucking, their wind-up fucking camcorders that they've got at the game?
Is it not that little reel that they show? I think it's all it, don't they? Because they actually show you what they're seeing.
I don't think they've got access to the Sky thing, because again, they typically
with the sort of review for whatever. And then they show you the 3 different angles. I think it's the same one.
Right. So that was the equaliser. So we got the goal, as I say. Lovely to see a full back hitting the byline or close to the byline, at least overlapping, cutting the ball across. The classic Sega goal to take the lead, and then we have the usual brain fart, and we let a goal in at half time. I had a wee chat with Paul McLaughlin last night. Hector, a quick one for you. And this is, I am not having a go at the guy. I'm just throwing up the.
There's a butt here. There's a butt
question here, right? No, the semi-final. Remember the semi-final against St Mirren, where Sinisalo made the save of the season from Sinisalo. Remember he buggered it, and then that punch out against Hibs, where it was nowhere near it. It was hopeless. I know there was a lot of Celtic players made mistakes during that goal being scored. But Sinisalo for me was just terrible, to be honest. He was nowhere near that ball, hopeless. I was asking Paul last night, do we think there's a possibility Sinisalo might be feeling the pressure Or is it? And again, I was willing to concede these were 2
No.
minutes out of 2 big games, so fair enough. And he's done. I'm not having a go at him. I'm just saying, is this because he's had a good wee run of non-pressure games, if you know what I mean? And now it's the big pressure games. So we're going to start to see.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. What I would do, I'd like to, just you've said it, maybe look back on the goal again, right? Because Trusty, we went up for the punch. It was a very weak punch, right? Trusty right in front of him, but he also had Bashiri for Hibs, who's a big 6 foot whatever guy. Might have been 3 of them. And I don't know whether he's, as I said, I have to watch it again, whether he couldn't get his angles blocked a wee bit with Trusty or something. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to see it again. But I
no
don't
man's
know.
land. He's not like that way. Do you stay in the line, or do you go stay in the line, or from our classic, our ages, the goalie just goes through everybody and gets the ball cleared.
But here's the thing, Desi.
He was caught between a rock and a hard place and done nothing. You know what I mean? And then by the time he tries to punch, he's too slow. He's a yard away, and it just drops. And
is it possible, Desi? Is it possible he was caught in the back foot because he was expecting Nygren to head it out for a corner?
Maybe he shouted to Nygren, "Give me it," and Nygren's went, "There you go. There's a lovely cushioned header." I mean, the Celtic player of the year this game, a lovely.
Keepers are about anticipation, isn't it? Keepers are about footwork anticipation. The ball went away over there. Nygren's got it, and he's obviously, like all of us thought, right, corner kick, and then he's went, "Oh fuck!" Has he been the back foot? No, I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah. So again,
I think he tries to do too much sometimes.
What did you say there, Ralph?
I genuinely think he sometimes gets a wee bit over. I think he gets a wee bit overconfident sometimes, and he wants to be involved in everything instead of the defenders and the goalkeeper. The Doug doesn't think I'm talking sense. Instead of getting the sort of pecking order right, if it's a high ball, get one of the defenders to get it and let him stand off. I don't think there's too much communication between them.
Maybe. Again, I just thought it was interesting because we've been talking about other teams, which will come in a minute, feeling the pressure and Celtic being used to the pressure. And then I just thought, well, these are like some of the newer guys, like Sinisalo had been on the bench, never really been involved in the bigger games. And then suddenly it's a case of, here we go. How will he be? And I'm not, as I say, I'm not going to go to him. This thought was interesting, and I'll be watching closely on Sunday. But we're still in the Hibs game, and we've discussed this many times, Ralph. The difference a real striker can actually make. A year Nacho, he's like one of the guys in the Matrix where time just kind of moves at a different speed from everybody else. That goal was just a perfect striker's goal. To take it down at speed with a lot of bodies round about you, but then just to walk it, he literally just passed it into the net. Rather than try to smash it in the top corner, literally just went, "Thanks very much, that will do nicely." And it's amazing the difference, Ralph, having a real striker in the correct, I was going to say in the correct place. He's the guy that knows where the correct place is. And I'll tell you why, because Gavin Strachan's laptop told him where to stand. That's what that was, that goal.
I still don't rate the guy, and if there'd been anyone,
okay, folks, thanks for listening. This has been Ralph's bad half hour.
I really don't, because if you look at him when he takes the ball down, his first touch wasn't great, but nobody challenged him, and he had time to hit it. He's not always going to get that amount of time. However,
he's just off his chest.
That was in half a second, Ralph.
And then when he tries to control it, it did not. You have a look at that. That was about 4 or 5 seconds he had the ball. Because I thought, Christ, however, he scored it, and at the moment, I'm not going to call it a rich vein of form, because he only plays for about 3 minutes every game. But if that 3 minutes includes a goal or even 2 goals, then I'll wait until we get rid of it.
I dread to think we would have been the last few weeks without his wee cameo in the last 20, the Dens Park. Remember the one each, and then he looked at scoring, and then he scored a peach again. Actually, bottom call. So I get it. I get what you're saying. Nobody's saying he's perfect. I think the sad state where we are is that he's miles, even with all his lack of fitness and you know, inability to sprint, fucking more than 10 metres. Aye, he's still miles better than the alternative, right? And sadly, that's where we are right now. So I think him getting a wee half hour, I'd like him to start, but looking at I think that's, might even get 35 minutes.
He
out.
wouldn't
I
make
think
it till
his
half time, would he?
I think he's 25, 30
But
minutes from the space
what about
opens
in
up a
two up
bit.
front?
Works. No, it's not going to change now.
What
Things
about
aren't going
playing
to
him up
change
there
now.
with somebody?
No, it is what it is. See, the last few weeks, it's
I
now
know.
set. It's set what we're doing, right? What we're doing. It's not going to change now.
I just think the guy deserves all the praise he can get if we can give him, because is this the class player out there. When he comes on, he immediately holds the ball up. Nobody else manages to hold the ball up. And it's this wee things like match control and game control, and it just I get. Here's a quick question. There was talk of, would you give Iheanacho another contract? At this point in time, would you give him another contract? I said I would give him a contract as the nominated third choice striker behind a proven purchase of a quality striker and maybe a striker coming through like a Callum Osman. So, Hector, would you at this point in time contemplate giving him a year's deal if it was a decent deal for Celtic, say?
No.
Would you give James Forrest a 1 year contract?
Yes. He's
What's
got
the
one.
difference?
Yeah.
Difference is,
got one as well.
I think we an actual difference is with him. I think his fitness in terms of game time, right? I think he's the kind of guy that needs to play to try and get any match fitness. Being a third choice striker, and think about it, your starter and then your secondary guy are going to play probably the vast majority. How much football time would he get when fitness is one of the hardest things for him to get? Right? But let me answer. Forrest is like a few others. He's naturally kind of not got a fucking bit of fat on him, right? He can disappear for 3 months, come back, and you don't really notice. I think Iheanacho, I think he needs to play. He needs to get match fitness to play. I think he seems to be carrying a big fucking wagon at times behind him. So how do you get rid of that? You've got to play football.
But do you need to get rid of it if he's only your third choice striker, same as he's only your third choice winger? This is my question. Like, if we only expect 20 minutes or 30 minutes every third game, so to speak, is fitness really that big a thing when you've got that class?
I think for a striker, Desi, I think for a striker and also for Iheanacho, right? Iheanacho, look at the way he's built. He's got shoulders like the side of a house, right? He's a big guy. He's not a Kyogo slim striker. He's a big, bulky guy. And I'm delighted with him. I'm not criticising the guy. I think without him we're in big trouble over the last few weeks. So fair play to him, and I hope that continues. But if you're looking ahead for a year after this year, honestly, no, I wouldn't. I'd be looking to get guys who you can trust
You'd be
to
better
be
off
there.
bringing a youngster through.
And there's two wingers a game, mind, Desi. There's two wingers a game, right? There's two wingers.
But that was my balance there, Ralph, by saying we would have, say, a Callum Osmond or someone at your 21, 19 to 22 bracket, so to speak, who's got clear talent and coming through, but you'll still get your proven by it.
He'd be my third choice striker, Desi. Osmond would be my third choice striker.
Well,
he'd be my third. I want two, and I want a proven one, and I want a really good backup. And Osmond's a really good third choice for me. That's what
have you contacted your friend Mr. B. Wilson about this budgetary idea?
Well, funny enough, we're having a couple of weeks in a WhatsApp message in the background, and fingers crossed.
So this is where the 3% season book increase is going on these two.
Oh, we got there, didn't we? We got there.
these two proven strikers. Yeah, again, I just think it's interesting. Again, this all stems from Raul's vision of the under 15 super kid vision, and we were talking last night about, well, how do the kids get a chance? How does I know Maloney's might be going back to the pathway, but if we keep getting people like, and nothing against James Forrest, nothing against them, but you can't every year we kind of just go, he deserves another contract, and you go, does he? What is he contributing apart from being a stalwart of the club, someone who knows the club? You kind of go, that should be someone filling that in.
I totally get the argument.
You can't underestimate that role.
Totally get the argument, Desi. Sorry, Ralph. Absolutely, totally get it. What I would say though, especially this summer, I think the change at the club in terms of the team will be the biggest change possibly in at least a decade, if you think about it, because you've got all these loans that are going to be going, thankfully, at the end of the season. Then you've more than likely Maeda, Hatate are going to go, Bernardo's going to go, Maeda, I mentioned him already, sorry, he's going to go, Engels more than likely. I think it's a complete clear out this summer. So you probably need 2 or 3 experienced players there, because there's going to be maybe at least a dozen new players signing, right? But also for Europe, and I know we can go, but we do care. You still need that group of, is it 5 or 6 or 7 Scottish players? I think as part of that 25, I can't remember, 25-man squad. So
yeah,
I think purely for a wee bit of continuity because of the massive change that's going to happen this summer.
So I just heard Ralph. Sorry, I was just quickly trying to look up. I was trying to look up something there. I just heard Ralph mentioning Nigrin Paul maybe be off also. And I meant to ask this the last time. We never really got to cover it. But Hector, you are going to the World Cup.
Yes.
I thought you were going to watch Scotland, but are you actually just going to try and make sure Nigrin heads away somewhere else and doesn't come back to Celtic? Are you going to actually go and transfer him to his new club? Is that what it's for?
Well, funny enough, Desi, right? Funnily enough, right? So me and my 2 sons, we are going to be in Boston for the 8 nights for the 2 Scotland games. So the first night is a Saturday night against Haiti, and then the following Friday is against Morocco. But guess what? Right in between them, on the Tuesday night in Boston, 2 other nations are playing. Guess the name of one of the countries who's playing in Boston? Norway. Nigrin's going to be in Boston at the same time I'm there, Desi. So I will be trying my best to sell him while I'm over there to any interested parties.
Nice.
So maybe have a word with him and tell him to get involved a bit more in the games.
Fucking run, you cunt.
That's
what I was going to say to him. Right.
The basics, aye.
I don't. Did you say is Nigrin play for Norway? I thought he was Belgium.
Was he Swedish? Oh,
no,
he fucking
sorry,
talks shite,
I'm Swedish.
It's Engels I'm looking at. Sorry. Yeah, I knew that was in the right in my head. Sorry, I just had to look up. This shows you how bad it is. Sorry, while you were talking, we were talking about the St Mirren game. Just touched on the St Mirren game for a second there, Hector. And it suddenly made me remember I was sitting down the front with my daughter at the St Mirren game, and I actually said to her, "Who is that?" Right? And right in front of me, James Forrest was right in front of me, warming up, and then Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain came down, and they were warming up down at the corner. And then this young guy came and started, and I'm like, "Who's that?" It was Adamu. I didn't even recognise who the guy went.
Aye.
So I've written here, Hector, for you especially. Tubbs, ? Still mystifying Hector.
I mean, I don't get it. No.
He's like, I know we did the St Mirren game last, but he appeared in that St Mirren lineup, so to speak, from nowhere. And then we started, the last few games we've had Tanecki starting, so to speak. We're having players getting McCourt McCowan seems to be the go-to guy.
Why is your favourite, right? I'm having a wee bit of tongue in cheek here, right? But you know my thoughts on it as well, because I've messaged in our chat often enough about it. What's Hatate done to be behind not just Nigrin for several weeks when Nigrin's not kicked the ball? McCowan now is ahead of Hatate. Has something now? Everybody knows, even McCowan knows Hatate's way better than Luke McCowan in central midfield. Has something happened perhaps in training with Rio that maybe he's fell out and said that I've had enough? Because I can't understand why a guy who's fit, who can give you a great last half an hour when you need him to control the ball and work with other players, why isn't he going to even get a sniff in the last 3 or 4 weeks? He's not been great this season.
Double yellow.
When was that?
Mine when he got the 2 yellow cards and they sent off.
That was away Bologna.
Is that before or after?
Yeah, it was a while back, wasn't it? Because he's played since then.
Aye, that was in the
He's played since then.
I think Martin, you mentioned it earlier, Hector, Martin, things aren't going to change. Martin just has his core now, and he's maybe get the 8 or 9, that's it, and then it'll be 1 or 2 swapping, and they'll just swap between them.
But how do you explain Tanecki? How can you explain Tanecki?
To give an example of how crazy it is, right? That, like you said there, Rio Hatate, McCowan, you would say, well, say at least one's a 7 and one's a 6. Right? I'm not going to go at Luke McCowan whatsoever. But Martin O'Neill came out the other week and says, yeah, it's a shame for Bernardo. He plays the same position as Callum McGregor. We played Callum McGregor with an injury for 3 games. You know, you're kind of going, so an 80% Callum McGregor, risking an 80% Callum McGregor, well, you've got a Bernardo, regardless of Hatate and anybody else, we're going to go down that line. And you kind of go, so maybe he's just got this.
Is that old school? That's proper old. That's proper old school, isn't it? It's proper.
Maybe
I mean, let's we're not being cheeky with that. I'm not, but it is proper old school. I've got a core of maybe 15, 14, 15, and if they're even 80% fit, I want them in the team ahead of somebody who's 100% fit and fresh. That's how things used to be with smaller squads back in the day. You look at a squad of 22, and it seems to be there's only this group of maybe 14.
Mm-hmm.
A solid 9 or 10 that start every game if they're fit, if they're available. And then you've maybe got that left wing position that's the one position where who starts this week? It's just, yeah, I think that's it. It's settled, isn't it? We could all pick the teams. They're all fit for the weekend. We could tell you 10 players that will start this weekend. And the only question mark was who plays left wing. That's the only question mark for this weekend.
Yeah, before I forget, can I just check with Mrs. Bandido how much you spent on votes for the Celtic Player of the Year awards? Because Nigrin won top goal scorer, Player of the Year, and Yang won Goal of the Season. So how much were you spending, Hector? Because you must be bankrupt by now, mate.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, that Yang got the goal of the season, right?
And the
game we get fucking pumped.
Against the Huns.
The goal of the season was McGregor's 96 away at St Mirren to make it. Remember, we were fucking nothing each. Looked at a draw.
Yeah.
We played in Europe midweek. We played in Europe midweek. Better beat Feyenoord, one of the games. 96-minute top bag to win 3 points. Doesn't make sense. But if the fans voted for it, then so be it.
Yeah. Right. So Sunday, we managed to get here an actual with that beautiful calm finish. I don't care what Ralph says. Gets us the 3 points, and then we go into Monday, and we don't need to talk much in this, but I think it really is significant. The Hearts and Rangers game. So we'll come to Ralph first. The Hearts and Rangers game. Rangers, I was on, but I wasn't really paying that much attention unless a goal happened. So Rangers play the first half, Ralph, and apparently are very composed and very good and very solid. And then Manager of the Year, Derek McInnes, gives a rallying cry to the Hearts team, and they come out and run right over it. I watched the second half, they came out and ran right over the top of Rangers. Rangers just faded right out that whole game. So how do you think that'll play out now, Ralph? Could they have an adrenaline crash come the Motherwell game at the weekend, or are they on a surge up the way?
I was expecting them to drop points either against Rangers or at Easter Road, and they were behind in both games. And usually, every time somebody comes close to breaking the monopoly and winning the league, they fall apart towards the end. They didn't fall apart then. They actually sort of rallied the troops, and they went on to win the game in both occasions. They're in a position now they can afford to lose the next 2 games against Motherwell and against, who's the last one? Is it Falkirk? They can lose to Motherwell and Falkirk and still win the league in goal difference by beating us in the last game of the season. Whereas we drop anything, they're pretty much done it. It's incredible. So it could be a case they've done the hard work and they think they've got there. Psychology is definitely going to come in here. The team spirit they showed, though, it frightened me a wee bit. So I really didn't expect them to get full points for 2 games. It changes things a wee bit because I don't think we've quite got that mentality.
But I think they're quite different, right? I watched both their games. The Hibs game, they're 1-0 down, and the Hibs keeper has a brain fart, right? So they lose their keeper. Was it 10 minutes? Hibs lost their keeper. That was lucky. Hibs poor decision making. But they're 1-0 down. Half time, they played 40 minutes or 30 minutes the first half against 10. No created anything against Hibs. Start the second half, Hibs right back is a total brain fart. So they're now up against 9 men for 40 minutes the second half. They hardly created a chance, and their 2 goals were deflections. So all I'm saying is, no, the Hibs Reds were Reds. But that's a bit of luck. That was very different. The Rangers game, the first half, Hearts were shit. Hearts were absolutely appalling the first half. And they shat it the first half. Rangers were just passing through them easily. And it was because Hearts had the two up front, Braga and Shankland. Rangers X-Man midfield, they were just 3v2 in midfield or 4v2. So it was too easy. Didn't create a lot. That was their own fault. If Rangers, they were fanning about, they really could have put 2 or 3 by Hearts if they just put the foot in the gas. Half-time was easy for McInnes. He needed a midfielder to stop being 3v2. He put the boy, forget his name. They put the boy in midfield come in. Blair Spittle came in midfield. And he went a 4-3-3. But what Hearts didn't do the first half. Hearts hit Rangers in the channels, got them turning. That's Hearts' strength. Second ball, hit the channel. Rangers hate that. Rangers hate having to turn backwards and start for defence again. They want to hit you the high ball and win the second ball. They're very similar styles, the two teams, by the way. I don't think many folk have maybe cottoned on to that. But the Huns were just dreadful the second half because Hearts bullied them without having to do a great deal. And Rangers seem to be the heart of a mouse when it comes to the big games they have to win. And I thought Hearts the second half deserved it. But Hearts won the great, didn't have to be great. But I took for that game, about our game coming up. There's 1 or 2 lessons for Hearts that I'd like to see us doing Sunday. I just don't know if we'll do it. Like, play the ball in behind Rangers' defence. Get them turning at their end of the pitch, like Maeda run in and cause them problems. And it forces them back the way. Because they're a set-piece team, Rangers. They want to get free kicks and corners and go direct and win the second ball. That's their game plan. If we can nullify that, but get them back the way. Ball down the channel, get Dyson being a pest, put the game in their half of the field. That's what Hearts did the second half. And Hearts fully deserved their win against them. Against Motherwell. They're playing Motherwell. Do I think that'll give Hearts a big boost? Well, it should give them a boost. But Motherwell's, as we know, you've got to play them. Motherwell's a team would you back Andy to beat Motherwell? I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'd back us or Hearts to beat them. I'm not sure.
But I'm just trying to but did they not go through a bad run of form Motherwell recently?
They did, apart from playing us and playing fucking Rangers and playing
Huns. And beating the Huns. I think that's when their bad form stopped. They beat the Huns. Right, so therefore, Ralph, what Rangers do you think are turning up on Sunday? Does it no matter what happened in Monday there? And I was joking also, like, there'll be complaints that we've had a couple of extra days rest. You know what I mean? Especially compared to Hearts, because they go from Monday to Saturday and we go from Sunday to Sunday. But what about Rangers and Sunday, Ralph? What Rangers are we getting a windy animal turning up? Are we getting a meek, complacent giving up? Or do you think Danny can rally the troops? Ralph, here, we're lucky that Ralph seems to have frozen. We're getting a nod. Hector, can you hear me?
I hear you fine, yeah.
What do you think? Do you think we're getting a windy animal, or do you think we're getting a meek? The season's gone, Rangers.
Don't forget there's the Stephen Welsh factor.
Ralph, you're currently playing at the 2-minute delay game. You're still on the Motherwell game, and we've moved on to Rangers versus Celtic.
There was talk they would go straight into the Champions League. Hear you.
Right, Ralph, try again.
They can still make the Champions League qualifiers, can they not, by finishing second?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. There was a lot of press about Rangers going straight into the Champions League if they won the league. Now, that might have qualifiers. So they've still got something to play for. It's not just a dead rubber. And I think people have kind of forgotten that. So, but again, a lot of their players are only going to be there next year. And I think that they were that hyped up with the thought they could win the league that nothing else matters to them now. I hope that's the case anyway.
That's the two things, isn't it? They know they can still get second, right? So second puts you into the second qualifying round of the Champions League. So one, it's an important game for them. But see, even if that wasn't the case, see, even if they had no chance of getting to the second qualifying round, there's the chance for them to stop us winning the league on Sunday, right? So that if it's role reversal, you're wanting your team to turn up and fucking put it in, right, and put a few challenges in as well and make it as hard for them as possible. If they're not up for that game, I'll be shocked. The excuse for us, we should be 100% up for it against them at home with the place fucking rocking on Sunday. But I just wish that we play a sensible game, that we get the ball forward quickly. See if we can get the first goal against them after their defeat at Hearts. Let's see how they react to that. That might be the bit, the pressure bit that gets to them. Might get in their heads a wee bit if we can just get that first goal in the first half hour or so.
I think there's a few factors. That's what I'm going to say, but I think Ralph touched on one of them there. We've got a few players who will be out the door, and I think it's very hard. Like, I know, Hector, when we talk football, we talk with the heart a lot. We're no professional footballers, but we just assume all the players go out with that intention of winning every game, giving 110%, cliche, etc.
Yeah.
But when you're a professional footballer and you may be going back to your old club, or you may be looking for a transfer, or maybe looking at the World Cup, and you're going into a game where you've already probably lost the league, it's very hard to lift yourself psychologically. You know, like to actually to get that level of physiology, you know, and actually commit yourself to that game. That's how I think we're also happy that we've got Dyson back. Because we had a Dyson that wasn't in that psychological place for a long time. He wasn't committing. He wasn't getting stuck in. Whereas now he is running about like mad and being the Dyson we love. I think it'll be very hard for Rangers to. I'm hoping, I could be totally wrong, but I think it'll be very hard for them to actually lift themselves for that. Like, to get second. We know it's a thing to be second in the league, but it's still losing, if you know what I mean. No, like that way, it's still no. Claim it like, say it was no disrespect, a Motherwell or an Aberdeen a few years ago claiming second. That's a big thing. Rangers, it's just a same old. No, that sort of idea, and I think it'll be better. As you say, first goal. I actually think the second goal will be the clincher. I mean, I think Rangers could maybe even take the lead. That Chermini, I think, is got footwork. It will just could dazzle big scales, and I think we hope we just clear our lines and hopefully clear it into the channels, as you say. We don't mess about at the back. Let's let the midfield and the forwards deal with it and just clear the ball. But I think Danny Rowe, I don't know if he's got the ability to lift the players for these kids, because in all the big games he's played so far, they've been found wanting, realistically.
There's a couple of big things for Sunday's game as well against them that it's not been forgotten about, but it's important factors to consider. When we played them at Celtic Park, when Yang got the goal of the season and they beat us 3-1, the first half we could and should be 4-0 up, right?
Is that under that Wilfred Nancy guy?
Aye. In the second half under Wilfred Nancy, we kind of lost 4-0 second half. In fact, we only lost to 3-0 in the second half, wasn't it? It was 3-1. But my point's this: there's two big things from there. One, Nancy was in charge with that crazy system that left us so wide open. It's Martin O'Neill, and a tried and trusted shape. Everybody knows their job. It might not be the most exciting thing to watch, but it doesn't matter. They all know their job, unlike when Wilfred was there. But the second thing, the atmosphere on Sunday will be significantly different, because the Green Brigade and that section were banned in the 3-1 game. It's horrible. We were there and you could hear them far more you can hear our supporters. So and it was noticeable against Falkirk, the difference in atmosphere in the stadium. It's the best it's been all season when that silly ban was lifted. The place was rocking. So if you had that atmosphere on Sunday, plus some of our better players now back, and Martin O'Neill's in charge, there's a lot of good signs there. Nothing's guaranteed, but certainly a lot better than it would have been, back in early part of January, I would suggest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a given. It's definite. There's a better feeling about the place. There's a better feeling about all of it.
There's a buzz. Is there a buzz about the place now?
Underlying nervousness.
So with the Celtic on the field, right, apart from win, what's the best approach? How should we be looking to play the game against them on Sunday? We know how they play. We've seen how we've been playing and grinding out results. What would you like to see us maybe be doing slightly differently on Sunday?
I would like
exactly what O'Neill said. Everything just that wee bit quicker. One touch instead of two. 2 touches instead of 4. None of this. The most predictable thing we do is Liam Scales will move forward and play the ball to the winger. If Tanecki plays, the predictable stuff there is that there's always a guy inside him, so he can't turn inside. He's effectively nullified. So we need to do something a wee bit different, but not too different, but just do it a lot quicker.
Desi?
Good luck to Tavs in his last game, getting absolutely terrified by Maeda, touchwood. If it was up to me, I would try and postpone the game by about 8.5 hours, so we could then replicate everything we done in the Ange 3-0 game with the lights out. Remember the disco lights? That's the best I've saw Celtic play against Rangers for a long time. That was a total demolition. I know it was only 3-0, but the whole
better team then, Desi.
Of course, no, but exactly. I was about to say, and if we can go and buy all these players and bring them back, that would be great. But I don't. But as you touched on it also, the atmosphere, the camaraderie, the togetherness, the unity. God bless Brian Wilson and his unity. The unity between the fans and the players. I think that can really, the manager, forget the board. That can really make a big difference. We'll come back to it in a second. I was going to say I don't know what's happening in the Rangers crowd at this game, but if we can be fully charged, 12 o'clock on a Sunday, fully charged, and just go at them, because as I say, I think they will be. They might feel they're up for it, but if we could quickly nullify them and put the pressure right on top of them, then I think that's when I start to say it gets hard to suddenly put yourself into the dangerous positions if you know 3 months down the line you're going to be turned up somewhere else. That's my kind of mentality. So the touch wood, we can just go right at them and get the game won in the first half. I'd be quite happy for a 2-0 in the first half and then just see the game out in the second half. Couldn't care less. I'm not looking for glamorous
football. You're not asking for much, are you? You're not asking for much. 2-0 up at half time.
No, because 1-0 will still be terrified. At 1-0 will still be terrified. They could run up the park and the referee gives them some stupid decision or whatever, and we're just left. We're hiding our hands. I just want to get the game done. 2-0, the game's done. Thanks very much. They will stay in their half. We'll stay in their half, and they don't get injured. And we'll all walk off together. Know what I mean?
Remember their strengths. Their strengths is physicality, right? They've got a big team, right? They have got, and the second half against us at the game in January, and I know poor Trusty was left with an island on his own at times against fucking 2 of their players, right? But they have got a big physical team, and their strengths are set pieces, corner kicks, free kicks, and winning the second ball, going direct to the striker, Tanecki and whoever, and winning the second ball. We've got to be smart, and by that I mean they're going to look to dive. That's modern football, right? And fall over and get the cheap free kick, maybe 30 yards for your goal. We've got to be on the ball and just, step back. Don't go too tight at times, because the referees are like, the slightest touch and it's a fucking foul. That's their strengths. We've got to nullify that. They'll get corners. We know that's football, but limit them. Let's limit them. So rather than maybe getting 8 corners, can you just limit it to 2 or 3? If we do that, it limits their chances of a goal, right? So I'd like to see us be a bit smarter on Sunday.
Do you think Henrik Larsson's to blame for this modern phenomenon of players running to the ball and pausing and then getting knocked over? Remember, that was his speciality.
Scott McDonald was the best at that I've ever seen. Remember Scott McDonald? The wee guy. Yeah. I thought he was the best I'd seen at that, where his wee fat arse would just stop. But it's worse now, because at least they were nudged. See now, it's even the thought of a player going close to another player makes them fall over, and the lines when the refs by it, don't they? It's not just Scottish football. You see it, all them complaining about it everywhere else around the globe just now. But so we've said all that. We've said all that, right? Let's cut to the chase then. Desi, prediction for Sunday.
Well, as my wife would always say, in the game, doesn't matter, Glencairn versus Brazil, 2-1. I'm going to go for 2-1. I think that big Termini, I think he'll score. Termiti, I think he'll score. I just watched him against Hearts, and some of his footwork was very impressive. To be fair, he's a £9 million striker. You'd expect that, but I think they'll score. But I think we can. So I think Maeda will score this, so we can all laugh at Tavernier again. So and give him a send off. I'd love to see Tavernier getting subbed in us doing an Andy Halliday style salute to Tavernier. That would be nice. A packed Celtic Park waving Tabs off to his retirement somewhere. That would be really nice. So I'm going to go for 2-1. As I say, get 2 goals in the first half and kill the game. That would be lovely.
So, Ralph, before I come to you, sorry, Desi, just one precursor to it, right? Do you think the result from the Saturday night game has any impact on our game on the Sunday?
Well, I'm really, I forgot about it, and I'm really glad Ralph brought it up. Sorry, folks, I know it was broken up when Ralph was speaking, so my apologies for the technical difficulties. But the Stephen Welsh factor, the real Celtic player of the year. I mean, like, we all saw how happy he was at Ibrox. Can you imagine if that guy? I mean, he also scored against. Remember, he scored against Rangers, wasn't it? He scored against Rangers. For Park. Then he's saluting. He's gone mental in the changing rooms at the last game. So if he could then make it a triple by scoring in the last minute against Hearts to even make it 1 each, that would be unbelievable.
But do you think it would have an impact? Do you think if Hearts win or Hearts lose, it could impact your game?
Yeah, I think everybody worked for the game on Sunday. Sorry, I think everybody worked for the game on Sunday. But if Hearts somehow drop points, which is unlikely, but if Stephen Mills can do us a favour, Paul McGinn can do us a favour, that would just ramp it up even more. I mean, imagine
isn't it about time that striker there started scoring again as well? That Celtic, whatever his name was.
Balakwisha.
You know, the one that was like on our radar, Celtic.
Is that no yours? Balakwisha.
I was wishful thinking, Desi.
Hey, he's due a turn as well. So it will, obviously, because if Welsh does something and we get another wee clip of him, you know, with the arms raised and they almost call it ecstasy, would you not show the rest of the players, this guy's out on loan, he's doing his bit? You know, O'Neill's kind of famous team talks. Surely that could be used to lift it. Don't forget, Welsh can't play against us, and that'll disrupt Motherwell. So,
what's your prediction? What's your prediction for Sunday?
I would like to think that we'll win 3-0. The problem with that is, of course, I don't think we're going to get... No,
this podcast is sponsored by Carling Black Label.
I just don't see how we're going to score.
To be fair, right? We're due a 3-0
But you see that nil, given who the referee's going to be, given who's going to be on VAR, and given that committee always seems to score against us, I can't see them not scoring. So Hart would be 3-0. Yeah, I'd say the Hart says 3-0, but the head maybe 1-0. 1-0.
You always scored against 1-0 to him. You always scored against us. It might be 1-0.
Yeah.
Right, so
I think we'll beat them. Right. I think it'll be a wee bit nervy.
Oh, it's going to be nervy, right? It'll be exciting and nervy, right? I'm going to just take us back to the last pod end when we did our forecast for the 5 games. And I think you two had us winning all 5 games, right? I'm pretty sure you did. And I asked the question at the end then, does that mean you are saying that we're going to win the league? And you both paused a bit at that point. You didn't quite... It's fair enough, because, right, I thought we'd win 4 and draw 1 when we did the predictions. I thought we'd beat Falkirk, we'd squeeze out a win at Hibs. I thought we'd draw with the Huns and win our last 2 games. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's 1 each on Sunday. Wouldn't be surprised if it's 1 each.
So, and if it is 1 each on Sunday, do you still stick by you beat Motherwell and Hearts?
And this is where I think, right, why I asked the question about the game this Saturday night. We really need Motherwell to take something, really, because they're game at home to Falkirk. Falkirk make it hard for them, right? But you know they'd have proper momentum for that game. I think we need Motherwell to take something against them on Saturday night. If Motherwell can do that, I still could see us take the 7 points, and it goes to the last. I didn't know if we'd enough to win the league when I said that, But if we get Hearts the last game of the season at Celtic Park and we've got to beat them maybe 2-0, it's all set up. And I would take that right now if you offered me it. If you could say, last game of the season, we've got to win 2-0, that would really set it up. So,
to be honest, I would take it. You need to win 3-0. I honestly think if we came down to a showdown and it was at Celtic Park, places mobbed, then it would be just a cauldron of pressure. And then what does McInnes do? Does he just sit with 10 guys in the 18-yard line? Does he go defensive but hoping to get a break? I mean, like, all the questions are on him because all we're going to do is run at you. Or I mean, so there's a big swing. If it gets to the last game, all right, Hearts might have the advantage on paper, but all we're seeing is spirit of 86 everywhere. And it is that. We all went to Love Street and we didn't think it was going to happen, but we had hope. And it happened. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying it's, who knows? Yeah,
I hope he's right. I think if we beat Rangers, then we go to Fir Park with real momentum. And it'll be hard. Fir Park's hard. We know it's going to be hard, but I think we could squeeze out a win there. I really do, because it's no Wilfred Nonsense that's going there. Remember, they could have beat us 4 or 5-0 that night. Even the McInnes game at Celtic Park, sorry, Desi. And it's important, though. These are all important. The game the Huns beat us 3-1 at Celtic Park, Motherwell could have killed us at Fir Park, 2-0 going on, 5-0 was a doing. And then Hearts beat us 2-1 at Celtic Park, was Nonce's first game. So the point I'm trying to make is, it's now Martin O'Neill with the coaching staff, structure with its limitations, but they know what each other's doing. It's very different from the time we played them, the corresponding fixtures 5 months ago. So I just, we maybe got to just factor that in a bit.
Again, it's Martin. They've not beat Martin O'Neill's team, so that is a big factor. And again, Martin O'Neill also, if we can beat the Huns, even if it's 1-0, it's an ugly 2-1, whatever, and then go to Motherwell, you've got a good chance Martin O'Neill can ground them to grind out a 1-0 at Motherwell. No, that way it's not going to be, we're flying here. It's just going to be a case of just keep your feet in the ground and just get the job done. You know what I mean? I will pick the squad that I think is going to get the job done, even though it might surprise a few supporters. Or this is how I see it working out. Just getting us over that line, and if we can get to the last game, then we can't ask for any more, and it's just a case I go for it. But just before we forget, we're talking about Martin O'Neill. Talking about Bernardo. Unlucky for Bernardo that he plays in the same position as Callum McGregor. He also said similar. This is his words. Similar for the boy Balak-Wisha. And I'm reading it going, is he talking about the same player that fucking we signed for $5 million and he's never been seen since? He was still leading the Celtic assists for something like 7 months with 2 assists for the start of the season, remember? So that was really scary. So he's partly unlucky. Let me just check here. Right. So last talk on Sunday's game. I predict somebody will get sent off. I've got a feeling it will be. I've got a feeling it's going to be Liam Scales for violent conduct, so he misses the next 2 games. What do you think?
Who's the referee?
Beaton's on VAR.
Nick Walsh is
right. So it'll be Sinisalo for handball. He'll get sent off.
In the 6-yard box. I like how you've got the confidence that Sinisalo's getting close enough after my rant earlier.
No, there will be a sending off. Yeah, and it'll probably be one of our players. Maybe one of the midfield. Somebody that's important will get sent off. It'll not be Iheanacho or something. It'll be somebody that matters.
The last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes could be really. It could be chaotic. Depending on whether we need to win or whatever the score is, it could be chaotic. But both teams, Ralph, right? See if we have to win. If Motherwell win the Saturday night, we have to win. It's going to be chaotic. If we're beating them 2-0, there's 10 minutes to go. 1 or 2 of them, maybe Sterling, he's one of them. Wouldn't surprise me if he gets a red for wanting to put one in a couple of their players just to, I think he's got a bit of the devil in him. He's one of them. He's got it. Maybe asking wee shite bag that he is, but we try to
I was going to highlight him because he's went hiding when it's really mattered. But he's a sort of wee shite that would turn up at Celtic Park in the last 15 minutes, as you say, and just leave a stud on somebody to take a yellow card and hopefully nothing like that. We shitey fucking attitude. You know what I mean? So yeah, beating's on VAR, so that'll be very interesting. So fingers crossed. Two of us at least are optimistic. One of us is being a pessimist. And somebody did say to me, Hector, in the comment recently, they're surprised at how we've now swung. That Ralph and I are the positive people in the E-Team squad, and you and Monty are very much the door-faced cunts, I believe the phrase they use.
Wait a minute. Whoa. 13 out of 15 points is quite optimistic, is it though?
What did you say there?
13 out of 15 points. Optimistic.
You've been pragmatic as usual. You just can't enjoy life.
Would I take that now? Would I take 7 out of the next 9 points, Desi? Yes, I would. Would
it be enough? Is that got a caveat?
That includes beating Hearts. That includes beating Hearts, right?
I think the overall thing is that we're still in with a shout at winning the league in the last game.
Yeah, that 7 means beating Hearts, as he's one of the teams we beat, right?
Yeah,
I think I'll just be happy to win this shout
drop
on the
points
last game of the season.
I think they'll drop points.
Again, my apologies to George the listener if I've got this wrong, but I think I read on Twitter somewhere that Rangers could be in the scenario of relying on us winning the Scottish Cup to get them. If we were to win the league and lose the Scottish Cup, Rangers could possibly get into the conference.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Is that right?
Okay.
So to go for spending at least 40 million last year for a season of nothing, and then all your great signings that they made, that would be some reality check for the American owners. That would be very interesting.
Can I throw a wee
spanner
on the works? No, a wee spanner in the works. No, a wee
black cloud on you go.
No, it's not a black cloud. It's not a black cloud. No, a wee bit of mystery and intrigue.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Get settled, viewers.
Okay. So 3 league games to go. We need a new manager. There's a lot of talk with Askew at Motherwell, right? Would it be out of order to suggest that who's to say that talks haven't taken place with him, in the background over the last few weeks, and a done deal was in place and he was lined up to be the Celtic manager next season? Would that have a potential impact on the next 2 or 3 games from a Motherwell perspective?
But you mean like that time the Dunfermline manager was expected to get the Rangers job after he lay down was he not expecting to be Rangers manager the following season?
David Murray allegedly promised him the Rangers job. Jimmy Calder, was it Jimmy Calder?
So if we haven't spoken, already spoken to the Motherwell manager, is there any chance we can do it before Wednesday? And maybe
do it before fucking Saturdays when they play Hearts.
So yeah, again, but we're relying on the Stephen Welshies and I think the Paul McGinns to go out and give it. I don't know apologies, Motherwell. I don't know the rest of your players.
Stephen O'Donnell.
Oh, well, he got another good time. So fingers crossed Stephen O'Donnell could give a turn.
But there's one called Just and there's one called What.
Yeah.
And those are 2 other players that we're supposed to be looking at. So I think actually we might have put a wee spanner in the works there by sort of talking about their players as well as their manager. And who knows, there might be something in all of them.
As far as we know at this point in time, he's going to still be the Motherwell manager at least until the end of this season.
What do you think the score will be?
I don't think we'll have much of a factor. But if we can use that to rally the troops to get us even a draw against Hearts, that would be lovely.
What's your prediction now, Desi, for Motherwell and Hearts? What do you think Saturday night?
I'm going to go for a shock 2-2. Stephen Welsh will save our bacon.
Is that a shock? 2-2?
I think so. Motherwell haven't got much to play for, have they?
I was fighting for 4th for your guaranteed European football.
No, I don't. I think they
played the Huns off the park last weekend.
They did, and they're a good. We've saw how good Motherwell can be when they're good, but I think
and they've had the bad patch.
Mentals with Hearts, and I mean, Motherwell hope Motherwell come out and play Hearts off the park. But I think it still would be a shock. I don't know where in fact, while you are talking, let me check what the odds are with the bookies.
Hey, Ralph, what do you think? What do you think, genuinely? No, the Heat, the Motherwell and Hearts.
The Heat with Motherwell and Hearts. How many of the last, it's either last 5 or last 6, depending on whether or not you count the game against Hibs. But either before that or including that, they've only won 1 game out of 5 away from home recently. The last 5 away games, it's 1 win, but it might be 2 out of 6. That's Hearts, aye?
Right.
So given that, and given that, I think Motherwell will be a wee bit more inspired than we think. I honestly think Stephen Welsh is a big part of it.
More than Desi thinks. He's Mr. Negative. Right.
Right, okay.
Well,
do you want the last 4 games? The last 4 games, I'd just like to say, I was hoping to finish this podcast and I knew listener, but we've been off on a tangent again. The last 4 games, Hearts and Motherwell. Hearts, my eyesight can't read. Hearts 3, Motherwell 1. Motherwell 0, Hearts 0, that was at Motherwell. Hearts 3, Motherwell 3, and then Hearts 3, Motherwell 0.
But the 3 games of this season, the last 3's this season.
Head to head.
Right?
That's the
3 games this season. And see, they won 3-1 a few weeks ago. Motherwell 1-0 up. Does that the one Hearts got a penalty for a player getting kicked in the head when his head was like 6 inches off the ground?
That's the one. I know. I don't. But the odds are 8-5 Motherwell, 12-5 a draw, and 29-20 for Hearts. So Hearts.
So the bookies are forecasting a tight game. I'm going to go for Motherwell to win. I think Motherwell will beat them on Saturday night. I think it'll be 2-1 or 3-1 to Motherwell on Saturday night.
What odds do you think Rangers are for Sunday?
Well, Weird must be favourites, but what are they, 5-2?
Close. But Celtic are 23-20, just over evens. 94 the draw and 11-5 Rangers.
Aye.
Just over 2-1. Well, I've already been a bit closer than that, to be honest. Right. So that was us. So let's wrap up. Before we forget, right, I did ask you at the start about sidekicks. Let's try and end in a happy note. But chances are, folks, we will be back after this week, and this time next week. We'll try and jump back on to see where we are, how the live. I don't know if it'll be before the Motherwell game or after. We'll wait.
Depending on how weekend results go.
Exactly. We might have just chucked it, but then you might find no longer available. This podcast is no longer available. But let me see. Right. So I did ask. So as I said, I was discussing movie sidekicks last night with Paul McLaughlin. And then I started to think, well, what about Celtic sidekicks? So Paul McLaughlin offered Chris Sutton for Henrik Larsson. Hector, do you have any suggestions?
Yes, I'm going to start with an intriguing one. I'm going to go for Gavin Strachan and his laptop.
Nice. So what one do you think's the sidekick to the other?
I think Gavin's the sidekick to the laptop.
He's the eye and the AI. Okay, Ralph, you get one, we'll go in the houses.
Kind of a serious one and kind of the ultimate sidekick, I suppose, probably even in football, would be Sean Fallon with Jock Stein. Yep. Obviously a major part of everything that's been achieved as a player and a manager.
Yep, I've got that.
So that would be the kind of serious one, I suppose.
No, you're right. That is the ultimate Celtic sidekick. But as you say, football-wise, I've got that in this list here. I have what one I've got on my list. I've got, so Ralph, just sticking with you, because you did. We talked about this a little bit earlier, and you mentioned something. I've written here, Paul Telfer for Nakamura. The unsung hero, the guy that did all the work up the wing for Nakamura. Yeah. Who did you propose for Nakamura?
Neil Lennon. He always kind of seemed to be behind him. But then again, you would have Telfer was doing the donkey work. And I use that word advisedly when I'm talking about Paul Telfer.
Neil Lennon trying to tell Nakamura what to do. You know what I mean?
Behind not just then, makes me think of something. Right, so also, here's one for you, Hector. I had Peter Grant for Paul McStay.
Aye, Peter did the pointing and Paul did all the passing. Right, so there you go then.
Right, we touched on this earlier, so this might prompt you to remember one of yours, Hector. I have Jerry McCulloch for Mickey Nicholson, who's also Dermot's sidekick. So we've got a sidekick for a sidekick.
Sidekick.
Does
I'll
that
go for
remind
one
you
on.
of anybody?
I'll come to that in a wee minute. I'll go for a serious one, and it follows on from your Jock Stein and Sean Fallon. John Clark with Billy McNeil.
Lovely, well done. Yeah, I'm coming to some combos like that. That's fine. That's fine. So I had here John Robertson, RIP. I had John Robertson for Martin O'Neill. We've also got Terry McDermott for John Barnes. Remember that? Remember Terry McDermott was the team convener, and I also had Billy Stark.
And John Barnes for Kenny Dalglish. Yeah.
What else did you have?
Done that.
On a less serious note, Desi, I've got how about Peter Lotto and Paul 67 from Celtic Figures.
Nice. That is a very nice topical sidekick. We'll probably get us kicked off on news now, Celtic news now for that, but that's fair enough. Okay,
well,
and then
believe me, they're a great double act when you're in the same room.
That's it. Okay, I've got my choice. My choice for Celtic ultimate Celtic sidekick is Mark McGee's sweeping goal at Hampden against Hearts. Remember the Henry drop the ball game?
Who's his sidekick for?
No, it was a sidekick. It was a sweeping goal sidekick.
Probably sounded better than your head, I suppose.
Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Ralph. Ralph, can you remind the listener, what was your reply when I put out in the chat, can you think of your ultimate Celtic sidekick? Take your time. What did you reply?
Oh, I can't remember.
Hector, any idea?
Was it? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Something like that.
No, I don't know. What's the sidekick? I think was that what it was?
I think if let me read it. And again, Ralph, you can go to mention E. Timms and the piss stain drunk source.
Yeah.
But you did reply, Ralph. I'm not sure what you mean by sidekick. So I think we'll leave it at that. So yeah, there we go.
No, I tell you what, there are two more sets of sidekicks that I'm thinking about on what you might call the social scene, and it's based entirely upon rumours from the aforementioned piss-stained drunks. Was Tommy Gemmell used to look after Jimmy Johnston a lot when he was out on the beer. There led loads of stories of him carrying him home and all that kind of thing. And the more recent one, which again it's maybe an urban myth, was Darren O'Day used to look after Aidan McGeady when they were socialising. So that's a proper sidekick that looks after you when you're maybe needing looked after.
And so there, George,
might not be any truth in any of it, but
George, the listener, there's clear evidence that Ralph doesn't actually know what a sidekick is. So that confirms that. Right, there we go. So thanks very much for everyone for bearing with us. Fingers crossed, Stephen Wells, what's Stephen O'Donnell? What's his name
Stephen
again?
O'Donnell, Stephen Welsh, Paul McGinn.
And Paul McGinn can all do the business for us on Saturday night against Hearts. And then we will face the dreaded Tavernier retirement roadshow on Sunday. Fingers crossed Dyson can send them away with a disappointment in his heart. So that's us. So it's just left for me, Desmond, to say thank you very much to Ralph Mal. Thank you, Ralph.
Cheers, thanks.
Thank you, sidekick. And take over to Ralph's sidekick, Hector Bandito. Thank you, Hector.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you very much, folks, for listening. Please keep your comments, likes, subscribes, etc. It's always appreciated. My name's Desmond. We'll be back next week to see if we're still smiling or it is doom and gloom. All right, take care. Hail, good night.
Big Tams of the Gallowgate are proud to sponsor the E-Tims podcast for season 25-26. Feeling nervous? Butterflies in your tummy? Would swap a kidney for just 3 more wins? What are you waiting for? Come on down. Big Tams, playing doctor to Celtic fans since 1888.